A viewer sent me his game the other day, and honestly, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. In the space of 15 moves, there are 8 sacrifices, blunders, kings in the middle of the board, promotions, and pawn checkmates. It literally can't get any crazier. Let's get into it. So, our viewer has the white pieces and decides to play the move e4, and after e5 plays the bishop's opening with bishop c4. After the move knight to f6, they opt for the move d4, and now, as you guys can see, this obviously allows black to capture this pawn on e4. But they don't decide to do that. Instead, they decide to capture on d4, just like so, where now white decides to play the move knight to f3. Again, allowing black to capture this pawn on e4. And now, that is precisely what black does. And now, surely you're thinking to yourself, well, surely the subscriber decided to take back this pawn in the middle of the board, right? Well, no, they blundered with the move knight to c3. But the funny thing is, it actually ended up going well, because black decided to simply capture this knight on c3. And as you guys can see from the eval bar, black is completely winning. But the win rates from this position are certainly not 100% in black's favour. They are in black's favour, but white does still win 35% of the time, which shows you how crazy this is. And now, our subscriber decides to play the move bishop takes f7. Another very, very bold sacrifice, because now black decides to simply capture. And now what comes now? The best move is technically the move queen to d5, but a very, very similar move in terms of goodness is this move knight to e5. And this is what is played. And a very important thing to mention here is if black decides to play the move king to g8, similar to some fried liver patterns, queen to d5 is a checkmate in 8 moves. But the opponent sees this and instead decides to bring their king into the middle of the board with the move king to e6. Also the best move. And now, what does white decide to do? His knight is being attacked and our subscriber decides to castle the king. But the funny thing is, this is actually the top move in the position, because after this, what does black do? Captures the knight just like so. And the king is on e5 after just 8 moves. And now, well, what does white do? Surely something like this, maybe rook e1 to try and go for f3, maybe a queen check, right? Hell no. Bishop f4 check, luring this king forward. And the special thing about this is, it helps create a beautiful checkmating net. And you guys are going to see what I mean, because now, really, black's best move is to capture this bishop on f4. If they decide to go to e6, for example, then rook e1's on the board. After something like d5, there is rook takes e4, and there's all sorts of nasty things. So, obviously, what does black decide to do? They decide to capture on f4. The other move, obviously, king to e6 is still winning for black, but there are certain complications. And after this move, king takes f4, what does white do? Well, some of you guys may remember that I mentioned a checkmating net. And this is precisely what I mean. This move, queen to d5, also sacrificing this pawn on b2. Because now the queen is cutting off all of this. It's cutting off the 5th rank. And this is absolutely crucial. Because after black decides to capture this pawn on b2, it is checkmate in 3. But our subscriber doesn't quite see the checkmate in 3. But they do see a checkmate in 5. Because now, white decides to play the move. Oh, sorry, checkmate in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Because now, obviously, this rook is hanging. What does white do? He moves the rook to e1. But the problem was, it wasn't that rook. It was the other rook. And the funny thing is, this allows black to promote to a queen. But it's still checkmate, and a forced checkmate when black is up 27 points of material. Because now white has the move g3, check. Obviously, if the king decides to go, let's say, I don't know, to g4, there's h3. If you want to take here, then obviously there's queen f5 checkmate. I mean, there's also other things which can happen. Let's say they decide to go after g3 and they decide to play the move king to f3. Queen takes e4, a beautiful checkmate. So, what does black do? They capture on g3 like so. But the subscriber sees f takes g3, king g4. Bear in mind, there is nothing like this either, because the queen is pinning the rook. So now, what does white do? Our subscriber plays the move king to g2. King to g2, I repeat, king to g2. Sacrificing yet another piece. Black has 2 queens on the board, and after black decides to capture the sacrificed rook, h3 is checkmate. What on earth? Black is up 30 points of material and white has checkmated them on the 15th move with black's king being on g4. Look, I hope you enjoyed that game. If you did, obviously subscribe and like for more. If you have any games you guys would like to send me, join the Discord server, send me your games, feel free. And yeah, I mean, this was absolutely insane. And I just couldn't, I couldn't resist sharing it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, see you guys in the next one, and bye-bye.